All right, today we are diving into a really fascinating business pitch coming out of India. It's for a company that wants to build a brand new wellness ecosystem from the ground up. The name is Brahmasmi.Online, and it's built around this huge idea, a collateralized karma economy. Now, I know that sounds pretty complex, maybe a little out there, but stick with me because we're going to break down exactly what that means and why the founders think it could totally reshape an industry.
So here's how we're going to walk through their pitch. First, we'll look at the big problem they're trying to solve in India's wellness market. Then we'll get into their pretty unique solution, this whole karma economy idea. After that, we'll pop the hood and see how the platform actually works. Then, of course, we'll get into the business side of it, the numbers, the money. And finally, we'll look at why they're framing this as a true ground floor opportunity for investors.
Okay, so let's start with the why. Every good pitch starts with a problem, right? And for Brahmasmi, the central problem is what they're calling the wellness gap in India. They paint a picture of a market that's absolutely huge and growing, but the system itself, it's fundamentally broken.
And this is really the question that sits at the heart of their entire pitch. You've got this massive market, tons of potential, but for the average person, true wellness is just, well, it's not accessible. So what's going wrong here? What's the bottleneck? Well, according to them, the current system is failing on a bunch of different levels. You've got healthcare over here, education over there, your work life in another box. It's all disconnected. The models are all one way. You pay a fee for a service, and that's it. There's no real transparent way to see the value you're getting back on your investment in your own health. And most wellness apps, they're just focused on adding the next shiny feature instead of building a real, interconnected ecosystem. So this brings us to their big solution. And this is where things get really interesting. They aren't just pitching another app to add to the pile. No, they're proposing a whole new economic model designed to fix that broken system. And they call it the karma economy.
So what on earth is a collateralized karma economy? Okay, let's break it down. In simple terms, it's a system where you can earn and spend a kind of digital currency called karma units for doing healthy things. But here's the absolute game changer. The payments are collateralized. What that means is a doctor or a clinic doesn't just get paid for, say, giving you a consultation. They get paid when you, the user, actually achieve a measurable health outcome. It's a massive shift from paying for effort to paying for results. To make this idea feel a bit less abstract, the founders use this really powerful analogy of a river. The idea is that karma isn't just for a single transaction. It's meant to be a continuous flow of value. So karma could be earned by a user at a high-end urban clinic and then spent with a traditional healer in a rural village. It's all about creating a system that makes quality wellness accessible to everyone, no matter their income. So how does this karma stuff actually move around? They've designed it to be a pretty simple three-step loop. Step 1, users, who they call seekers, buy karma to start their wellness plans. Step 2, the providers, we're talking doctors, schools, even your workplace. They earn that karma by helping people get positive results. And then step 3, that karma gets recirculated back into the system through partnerships and other activities. It creates this self-sustaining cycle of value. Okay, so the big idea makes sense, right? But what does this look like in practice? How does it actually work? Let's move on and take a look under the hood at the engine room of this whole karma economy, the actual pieces of the Brahmasmi ecosystem. The entire platform is built on something they call the value sphere hub and spoke model. Sounds a little fancy, but the idea is actually pretty simple. It's just a structure designed to connect everyone, you, me, doctors, companies, so that this karma currency can flow freely between everyone. The real goal here is to create a powerful network effect where every new person who joins adds more and more value to the whole system. And the brain of this whole operation, the thing that makes it all tick, is their tech stack, which they've named Vyom plus Sutra Core. You can think of this as the platform's wellness operating system. It's the smart AI-driven engine that creates personalized health journeys for users and manages all the complex transactions happening across the network. So where does all the wellness knowledge and service come from? Well, that's where the expert collectives come in. These are the actual doctors, the clinics, the practitioners. They can get on the platform, publish their own wellness programs and content, inspire users, and of course, monetize their expertise by earning both karma units and royalties. And the last piece of the puzzle is what they call Setu Connect. Now, Setu means bridge in Hindi, and that's exactly what this part of the platform does. It's all about building partnerships, connecting the ecosystem with community leaders, companies, and even policymakers to help the whole thing grow and scale its impact. This all sounds incredibly ambitious, right? But the big question is always, how does this become a real business? So let's switch gears and look at the financial side of this pitch, the business of karma.
To keep this grand vision grounded in reality, the founders have set a very specific first target. They're aiming to generate 10 to 15 crore rupees in revenue. That's about 1.2 to 1.8 million US dollars. For them, this is the first major milestone that will prove that this model isn't just a nice idea, but that it's financially viable.
And they've laid out a clear timeline for how they're going to get there. They're at the pitch stage right now, aiming to hit that first big revenue goal by 2027. But what I find really interesting is their approach to becoming profitable. They're saying the 3-year clock to profitability only starts after they hit that 2027 revenue milestone. It shows they're thinking in a really disciplined, milestone-driven way.
Now, if we dig into their target financials, they're aiming for a really healthy profit margin, somewhere between 25 and 30%. That's driven by a 15% fee on all the transactions on the platform. But the number you really need to pay attention to here is the value compound. They're projecting that for every dollar's worth of karma that gets put into the system, the network effect will generate more than $1.15 in total value. That is the core engine of their growth model.
All right, so let's pull all of this together in our final section. From an investor's perspective, why is this an opportunity now? What makes this pitch compelling at what they themselves are calling ground zero? So what really makes this different? Their pitch boils it all down to a few key distinctions. Most health apps out there are what you'd call a point solution. They just solve one specific problem. Brahmasmi is being designed as a full ecosystem. It's not just about getting more users, it's about network-driven compounding. And it completely swaps the old fee-for-service model for transactions that are actually tied to real-world health outcomes. So the pitch to investors is pretty straightforward. You are getting in at the absolute earliest stage, before there's even a product, before there's a formal valuation. It's a true ground floor opportunity. They argue the model is designed to be scalable and capital efficient, and it's aimed at a massive underserved market in India. The ultimate vision here is to turn the very idea of preventative care into a compounding business. And that leaves us with this one big, really provocative question to think about. This pitch is for more than just another health tech company. It's a huge experiment in economics. Could a currency that's literally based on wellness and good deeds actually work? Could it reshape an entire industry? It is a very, very bold vision, and whether this karma economy can actually deliver on its incredible promise, well, that remains to be seen.